My name is Mustapha Adekunle. Um, I am a data engineer day to day. For those of us who don't know what data engineering means, it pretty much means moving data from various sources to various destinations. So you move your data from the source, which could be a database, which could be a website, to a destination, which could be a data warehouse, it could be a data lake, and it could also be a dashboard, depending on your use case. I'm also a Google Developer expert, which means that I have a bit of expertise and recognition in GCP. So GCP means Google Cloud Platform, which is just the console for Google Cloud, where you can play with and also test out some AI capabilities. So like some of the AI Studio, your AI Studio key, those are some of the things that you can get with GCP because each and every one of them are built on Vertex AI platform. So what do we mean by productivity tools? So these are pretty much tools that can help make our life easier. They could help make our life better. They are here to help us harness the benefit of automation. And I'm just going to play a scenario. So Google announced the Gemini 3.0 Pro recently, I think this week, and they also announced the anti-gravity platform. And there was a task that I was sort of struggling with. I was unable to get it. So when anti-gravity came out, I sort of had to connect my repository to anti-gravity and just using human-like command, just plain English, I was able to tell anti-gravity the problem, and it was able to also provide a solution for me. So there are various productivity tools that comes with AI. There's Copilot, which helps us when we are coding. There are agents. So agents, AI agents, they sort of give us the capability, or they sort of give the capability to LLM models to use tools that they don't necessarily own to have a particular result. And each of all these things, they come in various formats. So there's something we call the multimodal, which means that you can access them with various means, with text, with a voice prompt, or even sometimes uploading an image or uploading a document, or sometimes even giving it a link. That could be the command, and from there is able to work on those. This evolution of AI productivity is pretty much interesting, and now we are moving from what we call just a text reasoning engine to a goal reasoning engine. So when LLMs came out, when ChatGPT came out, when OpenAI did ChatGPT, it was just give it a text, it gives a response. But nowadays, now we are able to go beyond just normal text processing to actually have a goal in mind and getting that goal. Now it's more of it's like we've moved away from I want to build a website. What is the required code to build a website? And maybe ChatGPT gives you the code. So now we've moved to help me build a website. I want this and this to be on the website. Then the AI tools are able to help us build a website. So we've gone a step further from when LLMs came out, which is an interesting shift for us. So and it sort of now empowers us to do more than before. Sort of empowers us to do more than before. Recently, um, I am more often than not afraid to take on new tasks, even if I don't have so much of a granular knowledge in that particular task. So far, I understand maybe the fundamentals. I'm happy to use AI along the line to help me get to my destination. So it helps us to have a better like a better wide line. Like so, we have a better landscape, and each and every one of us are feeling like a Superman, or we have the tools to make us grow more than we could ever think of. So and I'm just going to also talk about some of the AI productivity tools that are in the market now. And when I mean in the market, I don't mean that you have to pay for them. So this is a market that you can actually go and be able to access some of these tools for free. So the first one we talk about is ChatGPT, and I would sort of talk about everything um, first. Then thereafter, we could do some little bit of demo with some of them. So for ChatGPT, um, the way the way I think we should see ChatGPT is like a Swiss Army knife. And if you look at the image in the template or in the presentation, you see that just holding that Swiss Army knife, you have access to a lot of things. You have access to a plier, you have access to scissors, you have access to even a screwdriver, you have access to a knife, and a whole lot of things just in that particular knife. So I sort of I have one which is made by Leatherman, and it comes in handy when I need to do some little DIY works. So that is how we should see ChatGPT. So it is very efficient for our daily tasks. It could help us to generate image if you are sort of on the pro version. So there's also a voice mode. You don't need to type out all your tasks and get tired of typing. You could just command it like you are instructing it. So it also has a very beautiful interface that is intuitive for each and every one of us to see, and even without no experience, we could easily get okay with ChatGPT. So there are some interesting key features like the voice mode. There's also the real-time conversational practice. There's also the ability to understand um, what we call context. So the ability to understand context is really it's really very important. And I'm going to give an example. So I can tell ChatGPT that um, I like this website. So when I tell ChatGPT that I like this website, and I give him some information about that particular website, the next time I'm coming to ChatGPT, or the next time ChatGPT wants to ask me a question about that website, it doesn't need to tell me that what do you like about this particular website? It could just say, what do you like about it? You know that that it, ChatGPT is able to understand that IT refers to the website. So it's able to understand, they call it something, I think it's is it semantics? So ability to understand context from words, which is really very powerful. And it's also some of the capabilities of LLMs. ChatGPT is not the only one in the market. We have what we call cloud, and cloud is people see it as the deep thinker and coder. So if you want to do some little bit of advanced research or a little bit of in-depth analysis into your code, you could use cloud, and like it's on the slide, it is very much optimized for complex reasoning. So it could help you do a lot of complex reasoning on a particular code, help you optimize it, help you look at the possible loopholes, help you look at the possible troubleshooting activities that you could also render on your particular on that particular platform. And some of the key features of it is that it renders your code on the fly. So when you are making those changes, it is rendering the code for you. It is different from ChatGPT in this case, whereby you have to maybe copy your code and go back to your editor. But for cloud, you could just use it in your editor also, and it sort of works in real time. It also does something like a flowchart diagram that can help you understand the flow of your particular application, which is really important if you want to understand it. So you know that it moves from this particular stage to this particular stage to the other stage. So you have like a flow of it. So you have an high level flow of your application, how it is moving from various places. And yeah, so those are some of the key features of it. and you could also work on it on your own. You could you could you could give it context with your own domain knowledge. So let's say I wanted to work on my particular repository. I have an existing repository a bunch of with a bunch line of code, maybe like 1,000 lines of code. You could easily give cloud context about those code, and it's now able to build on it on the fly. So these are some of the key features of using cloud. And I think we would go to something I'm really excited about, which is the Gemini family. So recently, Google launched Gemini 3.0, and the selling point for it is to just bring any idea to life. So according to them, they said it's 75 is around 74 to 75% better than Gemini 2.5. So which sort of opens doors to a whole lot of possibilities that we could do with this particular platform. So some of the strengths, it has a real time search um, capabilities. There's a so because Google owns the largest search engine, which is Google Search. So there are some function callings that you could also toggle when you are using the Gemini 3.0 or even Gemini 2.50 in your AI studio. You could toggle on the Google Search grounding so that when you're asking a question, it does not just only respond based on the LLM's data. You could also check what is in the search engine and use that to influence your response. So, which really means that you could get real time news. So, you could possibly go to Gemini 3.0 and say, I want the current news in Nigeria today, and you just toggle on the Google search grounding. So in that case, it's going to be able to check the Google search engine for results related to your prompt and also make that influence the results. So, like I said, it's also multimodal, just like almost all of the AI productivity tools we're talking about. So, multimodal means you could take input in multiple forms: voice, text, images, even documents. You could take it in those forms. So, some of the use cases: research, document workflow. If you want to generate an image, you could. So they have some. They also have some specialized models, depending on what you're looking for. If you're excited about generating images, you could use the Nano Banana. If you're excited about generating videos, you could use View 3. Those are some specialized models that help you bring in your results to life. The Gemini 3.0 is more generic, but there are also some specialized models. And depending on what you're looking for, you could tap from them. And you could use it in all Google environments and also outside Google environments also. So the next slide, which is the Perplexity AI. So the Perplexity AI it is not a search engine. I think that's the first thing. It is sort of an answer engine. So typically when you go to Google search and you search for a particular keyword or you search for something, it gives you results related to that keyword. But for Perplexity, when you search something, it does not just give you so it does not only give you the search results related to your particular keyword. It sort of tries to understand the like the answer that you're looking for and giving you the direct answer. So it can also give you with citations, telling you that this one is coming from BBC News, this is coming from um, maybe some Google Scholars link or some books that it sort of got the solution from. So it is very very well optimized for fact checking. If you want to test out your facts, you typically want to use Perplexity AI for some academic research or specific data finding. So there are a lot of AI assisted tools. I also know of an AI assisted tool that I did not include here, which they call Tweaker, Tweakker. What it does is that if you have a document, or let's say you have a report, and then you are struggling, let's say you use AI to generate reports, and you don't sort of know how to like, you don't know where each and every of the content in the report are gotten from. So you could use that tool, and the tool is going to help you search the internet, and help you then cite those particular like, then help you cite the report for each and everywhere those sources are getting from. So some of us experience those issues. Let's say we've done our projects and we did not do our citation properly. So when you take it to a tool like Teka, it could help you cite your projects in just one point. Yeah. So Notebook LM is fascinating. Um, Fascinating because um, it does not hallucinate at all. It does not hallucinate. Like, it typically does not hallucinate. And hallucination, for those of us who don't know what hallucination means, it means that when an AI model is giving you an information that it thinks is correct, but it's not correct. Or it could also mean an AI model is trying to like use a particular tool, a particular function that it does not own. So that function, it does not own the function, but it's trying to use that particular function. So what it's going to lead to is just some gibberish, just going to tell you a bunch of garbage that it thinks is correct, but in the real sense they are not correct. So that's but with Notebook LM, it sort of it sort of cuts these issues. Sort of cuts these issues. So back the years when LLMs came out, there are some issues that people noted with LLMs, and I think there are three. The first one is domain cutoff time. Um, no, oh, no, no, I think the first one is domain knowledge. So the first one is domain knowledge. So LLMs may not be able to get the necessary domain knowledge for your own particular use case. And I'm going to give an example. An example is, let's say each and every one of us know Boku restaurants. If you go to, like, back in the days when ChatGPT came out, if you go to ChatGPT and say, what is the return policy for Boku? So ChatGPT is going to give you a generic response. It's going to say, oh, I don't know the exact I don't know the exact return policy for Boku, but I think generally stores take between 7 days to 30 days. That's not an exact response because it doesn't know what it probably does not even know Boku. It just gives you a generic response. But and those are some of the issues with LLM. So there's a lack of domain knowledge. The next one was hallucination, which I explained just now. And the last one is the training cutoff time. So the training data cutoff time. So I think when ChatGPT came out, then they said it was trained for data as maybe till 2020 or 2019 and thereabouts. So those are some of the issues that when LLMs came in, they had. But with something like Notebook LMs, it saves you from a lot of issues because it is the data that you provide to it that is going to get the information from. So the way you use Notebook LMs is that you have a platform, a modal to upload your sources. So you upload all the sources that you want about a particular. So let's say I want to give a, I want to generate a report. So I can download journals similar to that particular report, and upload it to Notebook LMs. So when I upload it to Notebook LMs is just going to base its response to me on the particular sources that I uploaded to it. So it's not going to try to hallucinate. It's not going to try to generate what does not exist. It's only going to look at the document you uploaded to it and then return information based on it. So it's sort of a like an engaging two-host podcast, sort of like two hosts are talking to one another because LLM Notebook LM is a host because it's provided with the sources you need, and you also have context of what you're looking for, and both of them can easily interact with one another. We have the um, we have the V0.app that is from Vasel, or you call it VO. It is ideal for to give you like really beautiful front end applications or front end interface. So it writes it writes React and Tailwind very efficiently. So for those of us who know Vercel, Vercel it's a platform hosting platform. Yeah, it looks like that's tautology. So it's a platform where you can host your website pretty much. So Vercel has an AI productivity tool they call VO, and it can help you spin up um, bring out your idea into reality just by prompting it. It's able to take your prompt to generate nice websites for you to work on. It's ideal for developers, also ideal for designers who want to maybe work up or like do a prototype and see how a mixture of different colors will come together. And you know that our project managers now, for those of us who are software engineers, you know that product managers are sort of people who want to frustrate you. Sometimes they come up with sorry to the product managers on the call. So sometimes they come up with some of the requirements that they don't even know if it's possible or not. So before you maybe spend a lot of time troubleshooting if it's going to work or not, you could easily use all this AI application to test out the idea and see if it comes out well or not before you commit a lot of resources into building them from the scratch. That's some of the uses of this AI productivity tools. So Lovable is pretty much very brilliant. So for the past like 3 months, I've been sort of using Lovable. I think at least maybe 5 days a week. I'm sort of using Lovable. So and it's really nice. It's really nice. Um, it's help you build like a full stack application just from writing prompts. So it's able to connect with Supabase to serve as the backend. So Supabase help you provide the databases you need. It also help you at the storage location, help you in some authentications. So it's like a full like a full app in one. And you can go to Lovable and say, I want to build an attendance tracking system just in pure English, and it's going to build it in real time for you. I think I'd like to do a quick demo on Lovable at the end of this chat. So we've talked about a lot of interesting AI productivity tools, but how do they come together, and how do we make sense of them, or how do we even decide which of them is the best case to use, depending on what we are doing? So typically, the best way to use AI is not just to do some random use of AI. You could easily um, drill into the best use case or the best AI that is optimized for your use case, and then use that AI for that particular application. So depending on what you're doing. So typically, if you want to research market trends or you want to research competitors, you could use Perplexity AI. If you have your own sources, when you have your sources, you have your documents, you have everything you need, but you want to maybe summarize, you want to write an article of a particular, up like you want to write a article from a particular sources that you have in those particular case, or you want to generate a flashcard or thereabouts, you should use Notebook LM. You should use Notebook LMs for that. If you are if you are like using command line and you're coding on the fly, you could use Cloud for deep thinking when you are coding. I think Cloud is more optimized for that. And if you want to build interesting front end application or front end interface, um, very attractive one, very user responsive. You typically want to use the VO from Vercel. And if you want to build out a full stack application, you typically want to use a Lovable. ChatGPT is very efficient for day-to-day usage. When I mean day-to-day usage, you want to summarize an email, respond to an email. ChatGPT is good for that. Gemini is good for that. There are other AI tools that we do not have in here. There's Manus. It's also an AI productivity tool that you could use, and just a bunch of them. But one of the best call to action, one of the things I hope we all take away from this session is that we sort of zero in on a on a particular AI tool that we think it's nice for our use case, and try it when we get home, or try it after this session, so that we see how efficient it could be for us, or how efficient they could be for us, and also how it sort of is our what's it called, our day-to-day life. And in that case, we can now keep working on them continuously. Yeah, I think I've done a bit of conclusion, because I want us to do some hands-on practice a bit. So some takeaways is, don't just stick to one tool and say, "Oh, I am a Gemini fan. I'm a Gemini fanboy." Of course, you could be a Gemini fanboy, but there are some other tools that could make your life easier, or that are more optimized to do some interesting things than with Gemini. So imagine you say you're a Gemini fanboy and you want to build a full stack application, and you now prompt on Gemini. After prompting on Gemini, you now copy it to your VS Code, you now paste it there, you now launch it. You're now looking at it. So it's a bit stressful. In those particular cases, you could use Firebase. Yeah, Firebase. You could use Lovable. So Firebase and Lovable, they pretty much do similar things. You could use those ones to build a full stack application that you can just build things from plain English, from just prompt. So or- orchestration also, um, knowing which tools to use and knowing when to use that particular tools. Those are some of the things that we should know. So we should try to take time to maybe explore a bit, so that we know that, oh, for this particular use case, let's say I'm a vibe coder. If you're a vibe coder, the best thing to use is Lovable or Firebase. If you are vibe coding and you're using Gemini or you're using ChatGPT, you're not really vibe coding. You're just telling it some prompts and it's giving you some response. Then you're now taking it somewhere else to paste it. That's not really vibe coding. So you should know the tools that are optimized for each and every one, for each and every use case. If you want to vibe code front end application, just the website alone, without the backend complexity, you could use the VO from Vercel. So knowing which one to use at the use case, it's some of the it's some of the really important thing that I want each and every one of us to take away from this session. So my challenge for you is to pick a particular tool, zero in on it, and use it to create interesting things. Like use it to create interesting things along the line. I think that's where we stop for now before we go into the practical session. Time you could make in a particular minute is recorded as like you're tapping. So how much you could tap will determine the amount of score you could get. Yeah, so I think you can run it. And so let's just see um, how fast Lovable is able to sort of come up with something for us, compared to us just building this. So it's thinking. Yes, just allow. Yeah, can you just do your stone so that we can you scroll today? Can scroll down. So it's sort of building, like it's sort of building the required the required information for each and every one of them. So like sort of build database where it's going to store the results from people's attempts. I think now it's building the code for the game. So also you could also use it in a chat mode. So when you press in the command and you click on this chat mode, the chat mode at the bottom of the page, you would, so it's going to tell you the steps that it's going to take to design, or that it's going to take for it to get to the solution. So when it tells you all the steps, you could now review the steps. So when you review the steps, if you are fine with it, you could ask it to proceed. If you are not fine with a particular way it wants to implement something, could also direct it towards another pathway so that it follows that particular pathway. So a good way to use it is typically use the chat, especially for complex what's it called? For complex applications. So in the case whereby it could go in different routes, so it's better to see the steps it takes at each and every of those procedures and see how it really wants to approach building that particular application. So when you see the approach it takes to building it, and if you are fine with the approach, you could click on implement, then you go ahead and do it. If you don't want to, like if you don't want it to do that particular thing or you don't want it to implement it that way, you could also tell him to like you could also guide him towards another pathway so that I could work on it. Can I click on publish? Publish is on the right hand side. Yeah,
So here,
publish, the one in blue.
public.
Can you see it?
Okay, this one, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, please put in your name, start game. So click on that thing as fast as you can. Oh, you're supposed to click on the box.
So I'll just share this link.
Share the
Chat.
link with every one of us and
Yeah.
SFC.
Okay, everyone. So just try playing your games here so that you can see at the leaderboard at the end of 1 minute.
Okay, thank you very much, Div. I am going to play mine in a bit now. Uh, so I can see some of the leaderboard from my hand. Okay, so with notebook LMs, so like I mentioned before, the idea is to it kills hallucination totally, and it sort of works with what we have alone, like what we have alone. To test this out, Diff, can you connect my slide as a source so that we now ask
Okay.
it question based on my slide?
Okay. So should I try creating a podcast here, or should I?
We can see that he has uploaded the source. So can you click on quiz, the one by
Wait.
the
Okay.
yeah the one by the right hand side. Yeah, quiz is just downward. Yeah, quiz. When you click on it, it should generate some quiz. Yeah, I think it's generated. So this will be of like a mini test of knowledge for us. So yeah, so you can see some of the uses of notebook LMs. So it is like I mentioned, it is efficient when you have your own sources and you want to train LLMs on that sources. So you can have a source and you can generate a video from that particular sources. And these sources you could paste a lot of sources, like a lot of sources you could paste it on it, like connect it to it, then you could generate a video, you could generate a text or something.